The Bauman Moscow State Technical University, Bauman MSTU, sometimes colloquially referred to as the Bauman School or Baumanka, is a public technical university located in Moscow, Russia. Bauman University is the oldest and largest Russian technical university offering B.S., M.S., and PhD degrees in various engineering fields and applied sciences. History. Bauman University is the second oldest educational institution in Russia after Lomonosov Moscow State University. In 1763, the Russian Empress Catherine II founded the educational Imperial House. On 5 October 1826, the Dowager Empress Maria Feodorovna issued a decree to establish great workshops for different crafts with bedrooms, a dining room, etc., as a part of the Moscow Foundling Home in the German Quarter. All craft pupils were moved from the orphanage there. The 1st of July 1830, Emperor Nicholas I approved Statute of Moscow Craft School. It was inception of the first Russian technical university. Russia's developing industry needed skilled labor in many trades. So, the aim of the new school was to train skillful artisans with a solid theoretical background to improve and spread skills in various trades all over Russia. New school was created to teach various crafts as well as basic sciences. By 1868, education became so good that MCS was reorganized into the Imperial Moscow Technical School under the directorship of Victor Delevos. The main purpose of IMTS was to educate construction engineers, mechanical engineers and industrial technologists. IMTS achieved outstanding results in technology, chemical, food and textile industry, metal and wood treatment, and mechanical sciences. The IMTS was financially supported by the government and industrialists. Its management was democratic, but a key feature of the new institution was its educational system called the Russian method, which unifies a broad and intensive theoretical preparation with a deep practical education closely connected with industries. Under his leadership, the school participated in the Universal Exposition in 1873 in Vienna and the Philadelphia Centennial Exhibition of 1876. Where this method won a gold prize. It proved to be influential on John Daniel Runkle when he introduced manual training alongside theoretical training at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. It was also applied to other American technical universities. IMTS was recognized the best machine-building education institution of Russia and joined the ranks of the world-leading polytechnic schools. A lot of outstanding scientists taught in IMTS, such as D. Mendeleev, N. Zhukovsky, P. Chebyshev, S. Chaplig and A. Yushov, D. Sovetkin, F. Dmitriev, A. Letnikov, A. Gavrilenko. In the Soviet period it was renamed Bauman Moscow Higher Technical School. BMHTS continued education of engineers for machine and instrument building. In 1938 new military departments were created in MHTS, tank, artillery, and ammunition. In 1948 rocket department was added. During the first half of the 20th century, Bauman University formed and founded more than 70 technical universities in the USSR. Some of them are now well-known institutions, such as Moscow Aviation Institute, Moscow Power Engineering Institute, Moscow University of Civil Engineering, Moscow Chemical Institute, Moscow Communication and Informatics University, Central Aerohydrodynamics Institute TSAGI, and the Military Academy of Aviation Engineering Zhukovsky. The 27th of July 1989, USSR State Committee for People's Education conferred on Moscow Higher Technical School a name of Bauman Moscow Technical University. BMSTU was honored to be the first Russian technical university. Nearly 200,000 students graduated from the university. Most of them chose to become scientists or engineers in leading research centers, universities, private and government-owned companies. Many of government officials, chief designers, CEOs of big enterprises, cosmonauts are Bauman graduates. Many Bauman University graduates are world-renowned. Sergei Korolev for the first satellite in the space and first man and woman in the space. Andrei Tupolev for the world's first supersonic passenger plane. Nikolai Dolezal for the world's first civil nuclear plant. Vladimir Shukov for the first method and the world's first petrol cracking plant, as well as for the first hyperboloid structures in architecture. Nikolai Zhukovsky for the foundation of aerodynamics and hydrodynamics sciences. Pavel Sukhoi for the foundation of Sukhoi Aerospace Design Bureau. Some of the specialized departments of BMSTU are located outside Moscow in cities of Moscow Oblast, Krasnogorsk, Roitov, Korolia. There is also a largest branch of the university in Kaluga. Bauman University today. BMSTU has 19 departments providing full-time education. University provides postgraduate and doctorate programs and has 2 affiliated secondary schools. More than 19,000 students study in BMSTU, and specialties cover all range of modern machine and instrument building. More than 320 doctors of science and 2,000 candidates of science teach and research in BMSTU. Main parts of the university are 8 scientific and educational divisions. Each of them consists of scientific and educational branch. Several branch departments also exist. They deal with particular fields of industry. They are based on big factories and organizations situated in Moscow, Moscow suburbs and in Kaluga. BMSTU has unique experience of teaching hearing-impaired students since 1934. Bauman University annually grants 800 to 3,000 students free room and board in one of 13 university residences. The Bauman University is commonly regarded as one of Russia's most prestigious universities and has high entry requirements for its prospective students. The Bauman University is regularly ranked on the first place in official government and business press rating. The Bauman University also regularly occupies top 3 places in rating of alumni hunted by biggest Russian companies. In 2011-2012 U.S. World University Rankings, BMSTU occupied the 379th position in overall ranking and the 229th in engineering and IT section. The Bauman University has a National Research Center status. The financing of Bauman University is provided by a separate expense asset of Russian national budget independently of Ministry of Education. Bauman University, National Technological University, carries research in cutting-edge areas of science and technology, basing on 8 technological platforms. 32 companies included BMSTU in their innovational programs. Today the university conducts 90 considerable scientific programs in different fields. BMSTU is Skolkovo Innovation Center founder. The feature of BMSTU is a close cooperation with industrial, scientific, educational and cultural institutions. Zagi, Zhukovsky Air Force Academy, NAMI, SIAM, some departments of Chemical Machine Building Institute, Chemical Technology Institute and Engineering Physics Institute, Military Academy of Chemical Defense, MI, Power Engineering Institute, Architectural Institute, and another leading scientific, educational and industrial institutions are BMSTU successes. The staff is aimed at new scientific and technological achievements. Now strategy of the university is to provide human resources for cutting-edge areas of Russian science and technology, in prior economic development directions of the country, such as information and communication systems, nanosystems and materials industry, power supply and conservation, biosystems, security and counter-terrorism, transportation and aerospace systems, promising military equipment. Educational programs. The admission process includes 3 exams on math, physics and Russian. The university accepts 1 in 10 applicants, which means that there are more than 30,000 applicants. More than 2,600 of them pass through 2 years of preparation courses. Another 2,000 follow studies in high schools partners of Bauman University. Participation in admission process requires a gauge of original high school certificate which prevent applicants to take part in Lomonosov Moscow State University admission process at the same time. The academic year in this university begins on the 1st of September and is divided into 2 terms. Students take exams at the end of each semester. The course of study lasts 6 years without interrupt for engineer specialist degree. But over the last few years the Bauman University has continued to integrate with the Bologna process, and today some students learn using 2-step educational system. The first 2 years students study general engineering subjects. In the 3rd year students begin to study specialized subjects. All educational and scientific activities of MSTU are future-oriented. It is taking part in conversion programs, defining priorities of new scientific areas development, developing foundations of government human resources system for high-tech industry. MSTU combines precise calculations with engineering intuition, follows traditions of Russian engineering school method, subtly appreciates new fields of activity, carries socio-economic approach to complex engineering problems and humanist approach to education. Students begin to work at the university's well-equipped laboratories and in senior years at various plants, design offices and research institutes of Russia. All of that allows MSTU to be on the cutting edge of scientific and engineering progress. The University Scientific Library is one of the eldest among Russian universities. It was founded in 1830. The library fund includes 2.7 million of storage units of educational and scientific literature. An important part of the library fund is a collection of reports and theses made by MSTU scientists. Bauman University is one of the 3 Russian universities that started in 1926 military education of students. Today, Military Institute carries out training of military officers of 21 specialties. Military specialties are based on civil ones and help to teach high-qualified civil specialists. The institute consists of 5 military subdepartments: Civil Defense Subdepartment and Military Training Center. Practical training is carried out in Dmitrov branch, where military hardware is deployed. Branches. Dmitrov, the first order of the MSTU Dmitrov branch, was bringing into service in 1965. In 1965 to 1973, Suburban Educational and Science Experimental Center. In 1973 to 2000, Educational Experimental Center. The MSTU radio telescope is situated near the Dmitrov branch. Kaluga. In 1959, MSTU opened in Kaluga the branch for education of the industrial machine and device engineering personnel. Nowadays the MSTU Kaluga branch is the lead technical institute of Kaluga region, the most authoritative and the largest branch of the Russian technical institutes. It consists of 7 buildings. The Kaluga branch is an educational science manufacturing complex, including 5 departments: Military Education Department, Computer Bureau, Library with reading rooms, Sport Camp and Sport Pavilion. Publishing. The Bauman University Publishing House was established in January 1989 on the base of University Publishing Department. The house publishes manuals, handbooks, monographs and study guides for M.S.TU and other technical universities. The first issue of Baumanet's newspaper was printed on the 18th of February 1923. At the time the newspaper was called Udarnik. It has been printed for 90 years since then. All the events of university life are reflected on its pages. Today Baumanet has hard copies and electronic version presented in Bauman site. In 1990 Bauman Publishing House started issuing theoretical and applied broad-scoped Vestnik MSTU. There are educational materials in different scientific areas: physical and mathematical sciences, information and computer science, optics, mechanical, radio, instrument and power engineering, laser technology, economics, law and other subjects. Famous faculty and alumni: Sergei Pavlovich Korolev, lead Soviet rocket engineer and spacecraft designer, founder of Soviet cosmonautics; Vladimir Grigoryevich Shukov, Russian engineer, scientist and architect, inventor of the Shukov cracking process; Vladimir Solovyov, Soviet cosmonaut and first man on Mir; Andrei Nikolaevich Tupolev, pioneering Soviet aircraft engineer, chief designer of the Tupolev aircraft; Pavel Osipovich Sukhoi, Soviet aerospace engineer, chief designer of the Sukhoi military aircraft; Pafnuty Lovich Chebyshev, Russian mathematician and mechanician; Vladimir Mikhailovich Marsashchev, Soviet aircraft designer; Georgy Malenkov, Prime Minister of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics; Nikolai Yegorovich Zhukovsky, Russian scientist and mechanician, founder of modern aerodynamics; Vladimir Nikolaevich Shalomey, Soviet mechanics scientist, aviation and missile engineer; Nikolai Alexeyevich Pilugin, Soviet chief designer of rocket guidance systems; Semyon Alexeyevich Lavochkin, Soviet aircraft designer, founder of the Lavochkin Aircraft Design Bureau; Vladimir Mikhailovich Petlyakov, Soviet aeronautical engineer; Sergei Alexeyevich Chaplygin, Russian and Soviet physicist, mathematician, and mechanical engineer; Sergei Alexeyevich Lebedev, Soviet scientist in the fields of electrical engineering and computer science, designer of the first Soviet computers; Ivan Georgievich Petrovsky, Soviet mathematician; Vladimir Evgenievich Zotikov, Russian and Soviet scientist and textile engineer; Levi Yakovlevich Karpov, Russian chemist and Bolshevik revolutionary; Sergei Ivanovich Vavilov, Soviet physicist, the president of the USSR Academy of Sciences; Arkady Grigorovich Mordvanov, Soviet architect and construction manager; Alexander Alexandrovich Mikulin, Soviet aircraft engine designer and chief designer in the Mikulin Design Bureau; Sergei Alexandrovich Afanasyev, Soviet engineer and statesman, space and defense industry executive, the first minister of the Soviet Ministry of General Machine Building; Alfred Rosenberg, German statesman and political figure, influential ideologue of the NSDAP; Sergei Pavlovich Nepobedimy, Soviet designer of rocket weaponry; Nikolai Antonovich Dolezal, Soviet mechanical engineer, a key figure in Soviet atomic bomb project and chief designer of nuclear reactors; Vladimir Pavlovich Bauman, Soviet scientist, designer of the rocket launch complexes; Alexander Leonovich Kemerjian, Soviet engineer, first planetary rovers chassis designer; Konstantin Petrovich Feoktistov, Soviet cosmonaut and space engineer; Oleg Ivanovich Skripochka, Soviet cosmonaut and space engineer. Oleg Grigorovich Makarov, Soviet cosmonaut. Gennady Mikhailovich Strekalov, Soviet engineer and cosmonaut. Vasily Nestorenko, Soviet nuclear energy physicist. Maxim Zakharovich Saburov, Soviet engineer, economist and politician. Zhou Jiahua, a former vice premier of China. Georgy Trefilov, founder and the former co-owner of the Marta Holding. Dmitry Grishin, Russian businessman, investor and internet entrepreneur. Co-founder, chairman and CEO of Mail.ru Group. Dmitry Sklerov, Russian programmer, hacker and cryptographer. Igor Sisoev, creator and developer of the NGINX web server and founder of NGINX Inc. Departments: Special Machinery EDM-1 Space Vehicles and Carrier Rockets, EDM-2 Aerospace Systems, EDM-3 Ballistics and Aerodynamics, EDM-4 High Accuracy Flight Units, EDM-5 Autonomous Information and Control Systems, EDM-6 Missile and Impulse Systems, EDM-7 Special Robotics and Mechatronics, EDM-8 Launch Rocket Complex, EDM-9 Multi-Purpose Tracked Vehicles and Mobile Robots, EDM-10 Wheel Vehicles, EDM-11 Submarine Robots and Apparatus, EDM-12 Technology of Manufacturing for Aerospace, EDM-13 Composite Materials for Aerospace, Informatics and Control Systems, U1 Automatic Control Systems for Flight Vehicles, U2 Gyroscopic Instruments and Systems for Orientation, Navigation and Stabilization, U3 Information and Measuring Equipment and Technology, U4 Electronic Equipment Design and Technology, U5 Automatic Information Processing and Control Systems, U6 Computer Systems, Complexes and Networks, U7 Software for Computers and Automation Systems, U8 Information Security, U9 Computer Design and Technology. Materials and Technology -1 Metal Cutting Machine Tools -2 Tool Techniques -3 Technologies of Mechanical Engineering -4 Metrology and Interchangeability -5 Linear Technologies -6 Technologies of Processing by Pressure -7 Technologies of Welding and Diagnostics -8 Materials Technology Mount 9 Industrial Design -10 The Equipment and Technologies Flatting Rinks -11 Electronic Technologies in Mechanical Engineering -12 Laser Technologies in Mechanical Engineering -13 Technologies of Materials Processing, Robotics and Complex Automation R-1 Engineering Drawing RK2 Theory of Mechanisms and Machines R-3 Bases of Machine Designing R-4 Lifting, Transport, Construction Machines R-5 Applied Mechanics R-6 Systems of the Automated Designing R-9 Computer Systems of Manufacture Automation R-10 Robotic Systems, Power Engineering E1 Rocket Engines E2 Piston Engines, E3 Gas Turbine Plants and Non-Conventional Power Installations E4 The Refrigerating, Cryogenic Techniques, Central Airs and Life Support, E5 The Vacuum and Compressor Techniques E6 Thermophysics E7 Nuclear Reactors and Installations E8 Plasma Power Installations, E9 Ecology and Industrial Safety E10 Hydromechanics, Hydromachines and Hydropneumo-Automatics, RADIOELECTRONICS and Laser Technologies RL1 Radio Electronic Systems and Devices RL2 Laser and Optic Electronic Systems, RL3 Optic Electronic Devices for Scientific Research RL4 Theoretical Bases of Electrotechnology RL5 Subunits of Apparatus Devices, RL6 Technologies of Instrument Making, Biomedical Technologies BMT1 Biomedical Technical Systems BMT2 Medic Technical Information Technologies, BMT3 Valiology BMT4 Medic Technical Management, Fundamental Sciences FN1, Higher Mathematics FN2, Applied Mathematics FN3, Theoretical Mechanics FN4, Physics FN5, Chemistry FN7, Electronic Engineering and Industrial Electronics FN11, Calculus, Mathematics and Mathematical Physics FN12, Mathematical Modeling, Engineering, Business and Management EBM1, The Economic Theory EBM2, Economy and the Manufacture Organization EBM3, Industrial Logistics EBM4, Organization Management EBM5, Economy and Management at the Enterprise for Branches EBM6, Business and Foreign Trade Activities EBM7, Innovative Entrepreneurship. Linguistics L1 Russian, L2 English Language for Instrument Making Specialities L3 English Language for Machine Building Specialities L4 Romano-Germanic Languages, Social and the Humanities SSH1 History SSH2 Sociology and Culturology SSH3 Political Science SSH4 Philosophy, Jurisprudence JUR1 Jurisprudence JUR2 Legal Expertise, Physical Education and Sanitation Department, Military Education Department, Branches and Other Faculties AK Aerospace, OEP Optic Electronic Device Engineering, PS Device Engineering, ARC-AT Space Rocket Technics, RT Radio Technical, GUIMC Lead Educational, Research and Methodical Vocational Rehabilitation Center for Individuals with Health Disabilities.